Today we're going over the top 3 biggest mistakes I see home sellers making in today's market. Stick around for number 3 because it's the most important on this list. My name is Spencer Lowe. I'm with United Real Estate Louisville, and if this is your first time on my channel, consider subscribing, click the bell notification so you never miss a new video. Also click that like because it really helps me out. Now, the first mistake that I see home sellers making is they don't do enough work getting the house ready, or they do way too much work. So there's 2 sides of the spectrum on this. You can either A, do way too much and spend way too much money, or you could also not spend enough. And what I mean by this is sometimes, we don't get it professionally cleaned, or we, might need to do some paint touch-ups, tighten up some loose door handles and stuff like that before we actually list it, as well as when it comes to staging different things that we could do, like, maybe new blankets or pillows and make it look nice before we actually list it on the market. And then on the opposite side of it, some people go through and they paint their entire house, they completely renovate it, and they act like they're coming in and flipping it because it's just completely falling apart, and it's not necessarily important for most house sales. Yes, we want to make it nice, but we also don't want to just sink money into it because certain things you're probably not going to get your money out. Redoing the kitchen, unless the kitchen is completely needing redone, probably not going to get your money back out of it. So it's really important that before you list your house, you sit down with a real estate agent to go through and tell you what you should and shouldn't do, because some things are a complete waste of money. Other things might make more sense for you to get the most amount of money out of your house to do before you list it. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you when we're preparing the house for market is go through the house and take pictures with your cell phone. And I've talked about this in other videos, but it's really important to see how the photos come out from your cell phone before we have a professional come out and take a look at the house and do photos of the house. Why? Because, well, when we take pictures on our cell phone, we can see things like the countertops, bathrooms, and bedrooms all have a tendency to get overcrowded, and it doesn't look too bad when you're in person, but then you take a picture of it and you're like, oh, there's a lot of stuff in that picture. We should probably simplify some of it before the professional photographer comes out and takes pictures of the house. So run through the house, take pictures on your cell phone before we actually put it on the market. Second mistake I see home sellers making is they don't properly market the house. And what I mean by this is nobody knows that it's for sale. They either put a sign in the yard and put it on the MLS, and that's all they do, and then they list it with cell phone pictures. As a real estate agent, we come in, I'm gonna do professional photos, we're gonna do professional video on the house, and then on top of that, we're also gonna run Facebook ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, Instagram ads. We're gonna kind of pick how we're gonna market the house depending on the house, but once we do, we're gonna go ahead and promote the heck out of it. So that way thousands of people see the video and the photos of the house to get more eyes on it, because those are shared, and when it's online or on social media, people can share them easily. I personally don't do postcards. I have nothing against postcards, but when you pick an agent, you want to make sure that they're going to do all the marketing for you, and they're going to come in and they're going to have a whole marketing strategy. A lot of agents do have marketing strategies, but it's really important that you look through it and decide whether or not that marketing strategy you think is going to be the best for your house. You might focus more on social media ads where we can show off the entire house instead of just postcards, because on postcards, we can only show about 4 to 5 pictures of the house before we run out of space on the postcards. So picking what type of marketing you're going to do for your house and the agent that you're going to hire to help you out with that marketing is really important when it comes to listing your house and getting it in front of the most amount of people possible to hopefully get you multiple offers, or hopefully just get the house sold. Now, the third mistake I see home sellers making in today's market is they overprice their house. Now, yes, in 2008, it was always the thought that, you price it high and then we can always negotiate down later. Well, in today's market, when we are seeing multiple offers still, and we are seeing a lot of action in the marketplace, houses aren't sitting on the market for very long. When we overprice a house, what tends to happen is buyers go, that's really high for the neighborhood, we don't want to look at it, and then it sits on the market for 30 or 60 or 90 days, and then we get to the 90-day mark and we either have to do a price reduction, we have to figure out what we're going to do to get it sold, because, well, once it sits on the market for 30 days or 60 days or even 90 days, buyers start to ask what's wrong with it. So they see it on the market, like, why hasn't somebody bought that? Even if, a lot of buyers even have a fear of coming in under ask, because in today's market, it's so uncommon to get a house that comes down, $50,000, $100,000, whatever the price point is that we're selling in. If we're up here and we need to be down here, buyers would rather just wait for you to drop the price than they would send an offer that they feel like would offend you. So it's really important that we get the price right from the get-go, and if we don't price it right from the get-go, 2 weeks in, we go ahead and do a price reduction. Given we haven't had much activity on it, we're gonna go through all this stuff when we sit down and talk about listing your house, but it's really important that we know when we're gonna do price reductions, and we're gonna say, okay, so if we list it at this date, this amount of time goes by, we're gonna do this amount of a price reduction and see what happens with the market, because we wanna see how the house is reacting in the market and how the market is reacting to the house that we listed it in. So it's really important that we know what our price point is, where we're actually gonna list it at, and then what our plan is if it doesn't sell in 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. We have dates set for price reductions from the get-go to know how we're going to treat that listing to make sure that we can actually get a buyer to come in and make an offer on it. If you made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate you sticking around for this long. Down below in the description, I've got my free seller's guide. I've also got my pre-listing checklist, as well as a link so that way you can request a copy of my book. This is Selling Smarter: How I Leverage Social Media to Get Your House the Maximum Amount of Exposure on Social Media. In today's market, it's really important to have a social media presence. When we list a house, we want to see thousands of potential buyers online with a full video, so that way they can see the entire house, not just 1 or 2 pictures, but they can see the whole house. If you are curious about listing your house with me, give me a call. My phone number is also down below. Once again, my name is Spencer Lowe. I'm with United Real Estate Louisville, and I'd love to talk to you about it.